Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Karine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Oh, Hare Krishna. Hey!
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Everyone.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Ajit, how are you? There's a passcode to get on? Okay. What is that? Can somebody?
It is 330
330
246.
246.
You just need the passcode or the meeting ID as well.
Okay, sure. Okay, we'll see you shortly then. Okay, I see most of the other gangsters are on already. Okay. Haribol, thank you very much for coming to the program. And Sudama, if there's anybody else that calls you about a passcode, I guess you can just give that passcode, but looks like everyone else is doing all right. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. We're just going to go for a 1-hour session on exploring a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe we'll get to 2 verses. We have devotees here that are gathered in the Alachua community in the house of Devala Prabhu, and 5-bedroom, okay, new house, okay. And on board on the other side, a little bit north of us here, kind of almost like straight north, I guess, maybe somewhere, maybe a little bit to the left. Well, we have somebody from Montreal, that's Michael down below. If you can see a Michael wave, okay, can you hear us? Okay, and then there's Ajit, he's actually, yeah, you're in Montreal too, that's right. Haribol, right? Is that you? Can you remove your hand so I can see? Okay, maybe it's.
The bottom right, is that Ajita?
Oh, yeah, Ajit, yeah. Okay, we've got Jay who lives up in Collingwood. That's in Northern Ontario by one of the beautiful lakes of the Great Lakes, Lake Huron. Jay, thank you very much. He's running a fantastic studio up there. To his right, we have a devotee of Krishna Katha. Oh, no, that's Radha. Radha, all the way from British Columbia. Jai, Radha, she's sewing, I can tell. We also have Nitai. He's part of a rock band called Rajasi. And he's a member of the Hanna family. They're pretty big. We have a few other people who have joined us. Boris, right? Boris from Montreal. And then, Krishna Katha, he's up there at the top. But who's in the black? I can't make out the.
Dinit.
Dinit. Okay, thank you, Nidhi. And we have Christy, all the way from Niagara Falls. Woo-hoo! We'll probably, and we have Anutama also. He's heading up our Sankirtan, let's say, coordination for Canada, Zone 1. And we have another Mataji there. I don't recognize her, but maybe she's local.
Karuna Shakti.
Karuna Shakti, our daughter, yes. Okay. Ambarish Prabhu. Ambarish.
Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
There's no way I can talk to you right now. I'm doing a class right now.
Okay, Maharaj, no problem.
Everything's okay though?
Yeah, all good.
Good news, okay. And people here from Florida just want to say Hari Bol. Okay. So, unbelievable. Okay, what we're gonna do is we'll just go for the two Pranati mantras for Srila Prabhupada, then the Panchatattva mantra, then we'll do the Hare Krishna mantra. We'll go to page 1 of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and look at that invocational mantra. Most of you know it. Okay, so we'll do this together. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastacha Karine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Asadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Wait if it is
It's
over.
gotta come up, yeah, that's, these things should be ready, okay. Hare Krishna, so now we'll go to page 1, Om Agyanatimirandasya,
Oh my God.
Gyananjana Shalakaya,
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurumilitam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in darkest ignorance.
My spiritual master opened my eyes
My spiritual master opened my eyes
with the torch of knowledge.
with the torch of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Jai. Thank you. So we're going to go to our host is Sudama, and he's going to tell us what verse we're on today. If you like this kind of, teaching of we would call Gita chat, we do this 4 times a week, and we do operate from Alachua here on Thursdays from 5 to 6 EST time. Okay, just in case you're interested. I still will beg the devotees to come over a little bit more. See the sun over there. Somebody should sit on the sun and get warmed up. Just come up a little closer, okay? Thank you very much. And it's a cold. These people here in Florida, they're suffering so much. It's going to be like close to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and they're suffering so much. And those devotees up there north are going, oh, you poor things. All right, good. So tell us where we are at, Sudamaji.
We are chapter 8, text 24.
8:24. Yes, definitely.
And dear devotees on Zoom, if you're not currently speaking, if you can mute your microphone just to be safe, so we don't have any feedback loops.
Very good. That's a word from God, okay? Namadharati is his name. All right, good. So we're going to go for 24. The chapter is entitled Attaining the Supreme. Those of you who have phones, I guess you could use that, or if you have the hard copy of the Bhagavad Gita, that also is possible, okay? Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla Shan Masa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vido Jana. Translation. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God, in the light, at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Jai. Thank you very much. Now we'll go for the purport. We'll ask a couple of people to read. Maybe we can get someone, we're going to try somebody from up north there to read half of the purport. When I say thank you, that means it's the cutoff time. And then we'll get one volunteer to finish reading the purport, okay? Would that volunteer be from here? Mr. Davila, the man of the house. Okay, so let's go for purport by, he's next, he's number 2. Who do we have over there, Sudama?
Why don't we have Steve read the first paragraph?
Who's that?
Christy?
Okay, Christy, try it out. It's not the perfect kind of return we're getting from you. Nothing to do with you. It's just the technical thing. Okay, try it out. Go ahead.
Krishna. When fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it's to be understood that for all of them, there are various precise for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries on, on the path to, if one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to
Brahmajyoti.
myths who are,
Okay, Brahmajyoti. Thank you. That's good enough. Yeah, it's not coming through so clear, but that's okay. Thank you. We appreciate the effort. We've got the text in front of us anyways. Go ahead, David. You're next.
Mystics who are advanced.
Thank you.
Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave in an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But if not, then there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning. Whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement.
Thank you very much. And we'll just read the verse one more time. For those who know the Supreme Brahman, attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day during the fortnight of the waxing moon or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This section of the Bhagavad Gita can raise a few eyebrows, and it tends to get a little bit technical, the information that Krishna is giving us here. You mean I have to leave this world at a particular time, place, circumstance? And is it really that complicated? Sounds very technical, and I'm not sure if I'm going to buy into this. What we're going to find in this chapter also, a lot of your destination is dependent on your state of mind. You know, that becomes very clear. Where the Lord says that, I'm just trying to think of the verse right now. We already went through it. Yum yum, yeah. The Prashadam verse, yum yum. Tum tum, yum yum for the tum tum. Yeah, whatever state of what you're thinking of at the time of death, that state you attain in your next life. You know, and so that's one shloka that gives us some idea that state of mind has a lot of bearing on your future destination, where you're going to be in your next life and where the ultimate objective will be for you. So that's something to consider. And perhaps that's also a high point of consideration. I think Prabhupada sums it up very nicely, though. For those who are not necessarily on the path of pure bhakti, they may have to get a little more technical. And whereas those who understand love and exercise love, which is really the real point of yoga in the end anyways, is they may have it a little easier. Krishna relates to love, he relates to service, he relates to, making everyone happy. And this is what devotional service is all about. For them, there's not a great concern or worry. If Krishna's on your mind, then you're assured of being with him. Another principle we're going to find, which is makes so much sense in the next chapter. The Lord is talking about wherever you're putting your attention, say worship of the devatas, you'll go to them. Yanti devara vrata devam pitrin yanti pritri vrata. Yanti bhutani. Krishna talks about if you're thinking about ghosts and spirits, you'll go there. But if you come to me, if you think of me, you'll come to me. So first of all, if you worship demigods, which a lot of people do, let's face it, in this world, there's a lot of devata worship, puja going on, then they'll end up, and that will be their destiny. And if you're interested in going to where your ancestors were, you can give them a lot of attention. And it is a little component in our culture to think a little bit about your ancestors. And we have a time called Shraddh, which seemed to be a big part of at least the culture of Bengal during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's times. Think about your ancestors, and so you feed the Brahmins, and then the remnants may go to the ancestors. So you may go there. They're called Pitris. And then those who honor ghosts and spirits, which is very much in the tamasic category, mode of ignorance, out of the three energies, mode of ignorance is a reality. You'll go to those places where they reside. Heaven forbid, who wants to go there, even during Halloween time? You really don't want to go there, And then, but then Krishna makes it very clear in the last line. He says, but if you put your energy on me, then you'll come to me. So he's stating 4 categories right there. So wherever your attention goes, that's where you're going to end up, most likely. So what is encouraged is thinking of the Lord. Prabhupada used to say, always think of the Lord, always think of Krishna, never forget Krishna. Always remember him, never forget him. Remember, or did you forget? So I don't think we need to be too concerned about these different technical details, because if you're following a path of yoga, such as, Hatha yoga or something, but you haven't quite cultivated the element of bhakti, then there might be a few more hoops that you have to jump through. And then the Brahmajyoti is the one place that some people seek after. The Brahmajyoti is the light power coming from the image of God. It's the aura. I remember going to one program, I will not forget it, and that was held in Peterborough. Radha, do you remember that one? You were there. Peterborough. There was this one woman who was there, and she was going through some interesting, I don't know, maybe she was bipolar or something. She looked at me and said, "You're purple." Yeah. You're purple. I said, "Oh, thanks a lot." And I guess maybe she was claiming to see my aura, energy. We have a lot of laughing devotees here today, But so there is an aura coming from the source, and that source is Krishna. And some people are interested in the Brahmajyoti. Are some of you familiar with the Somerset Maugham, the author of the Razor's Edge? There was this very wealthy tycoon. I think he was from Chicago during the Roaring '20s, 100 years ago or so, doing quite well, but not being very satisfied. So he decided in his mind, partyism isn't for me. Let me go to where there are some more simple people. So he went up to the coal mines. He mingled with the coal miners up in Britain or some of those surrounding areas. And then he met with those people. Then he met with a priest, and he said, what you're really looking for, you got to go to India. So then he went to India and he met with a master, somebody in a dhoti, and I guess he looked very euphoric. And so the phrase, at least what was understood as far as the author goes, you can see the light. You know that phrase, I've seen the light. So for some people, that's where a spiritual life stops. I've seen light. Maybe it's the glow from God, perhaps, right? So this the main character here, he was able to do all these mystic, magical tricks, and people took that, to be like what we call cities in our tradition. They took that to be signs of symptoms of spiritual advancement, but it's not really even getting close. So if you want to go to the abode of the Lord and the abode of where there is no anxiety, Vaikunta. Kunta means the place of anxiety, and Vai means without anxiety. There is such a place where there is no birth, there's no death, no disease, old age, and in some cases, Jagdvaita Maharaj would say new age. Old age and new age. He's got his humor. Okay, great. So we're interested in bhakti, and of course I'm speaking very loosely. It's nice to be part of a circle of bhakti yogis, but we also have to act it. You can't just say, I have a mark, it's called tilak, I'm wearing a sari or a dhoti, and hopefully you're not cross-dressing on these things. Hopefully you're just, we are servants of the Lord, servants of Krishna, and that's it. We are simply interested in pleasing Him, and since we are part and parcel of Him, automatically we become satisfied at His satisfaction. Right. So I think that it sums up like our destiny. When I say our eyebrows are being raised, really, do I have to get all this together? Do I have to die? How do I know that I'll die when the sun is moving in the northerly direction, or at a particular time of the waxing of the moon? There's no guarantee on any of these things. The greatest guarantee is to have your mind fixed up, and to be fixed up in bhakti yoga and devotional service. That's the kind of conclusion on this. We're going to hear more about certain conditions. This is not the last phrase, but Prabhupada wants to ensure that we understand that it's the state of mind that's the most important element here. Okay, so we'll leave it open for any questions or comments that anybody may have, either here in Florida or those of you who are in Ontario and Quebec and British Columbia. I don't think I missed anybody. Please open up now. Now's the time to open up your heart if you've got any questions. Hare Krishna. See.
Maharaj,
Pass her the microphone.
We'll pass the microphone so the devotees here can listen on the other side of the continent.
you do a lot of walking. Is sometimes you feel the entities in some areas that you walk to?
There are entities around where I'm walking.
Yeah, wherever places that you walk.
Lots of
you feel them
mosquitoes.
Not that
Black
kind of entity,
flies.
Maharaj.
Okay.
I'm talking about those entities. If you can feel them or they bother you.
You talk Bhutas, ghosts?
UFOs, maybe.
Oh, UFOs?
Go.
Well, ghosts, no. I can clearly say that I have not met with any ghosts on the walks. Because one thing is that I am assured of that I chant most of the time. And I would say, like, it's in the book, there's a chapter on the ghost on the rock. So the first time I did the walk across Canada, there was a ghost that indeed was following me and my small team. And one of my support guys, he's from the UK, his name's Madai, and we took the ferry boat across the Atlantic from Sydney, Nova Scotia, to all the way to Newfoundland on the east side. That's quite a trip. It's quite a trip. And he was clearly under attack by a ghost, And so we kind of shook him out. We were all sleeping on the floor. That's what everyone does. it was a nighttime sale, and he was making all these strange noises, and like the cases for a lot of people who have had ghost encounters. There's like a high pressure on your chest. You can't move. You're a little bit paralyzed. You might feel a cold front. You want to scream for help, but you can't. Those are some of the symptoms, that are described in. So it was very interesting. Anyways, it was a little embarrassing because everyone was sleeping on the floor at the base of the boat, and we didn't want him to be affiliated with the Krishna devotees, that this is what they're into, ghosts. But then what happened was we drove the next day from Port aux Basques, which is on the western side of Newfoundland, and drove all the way for 10 hours to the other end to do the last leg of the walk. The last leg of the walk is basically in Newfoundland. You walk along where most of the people live, which is on the East Coast. Right? So we arrived late at night. We slept in our van. And again, he was under attack by the same ghost, same symptoms. And he was trying to say my name, for help. And he was saying, like that. That's the way it sounded. He kept going like this, kind of eerie, and I made sure hairs stand on end. And we actually couldn't, it was hard to get to him because the way the van was shaped, and we had all this thing piled up between me and my other support guy and Madai, and we couldn't get to him, but we kept shouting and screaming, and then finally got to him and shook him up a little bit. And so anyways, that's the only Bhuta encounter I had on the walks all this time around. Now I must say that I've met ghostly people. There are some people who are under intoxication, like say maybe weak-minded, so they're under the influence of some kind of hallucinations, drugs or whatever, and they might be a little bit on the scary side. So, but in general, I think you feel very empowered when you're walking there on the road and you meet people, and most people are quite nice. On occasion, you meet with redneck dynamics, like when the last major walk I did was in Nebraska, and there were a couple of guys that came, and some without teeth, and they were a little curious as to why I was on their road. Well, these were part owners of a 35,000 head of cattle ranch. 35,000. I remember the count. 20,000 in one side, one pasture, and 15 on the other side. And two guys came and they had shotguns, and kind of like that whole, like you think it's only in the movies, but this is in real life. And so what's going on around here? That kind of thing. Says, well, I'm just walking across the country, walking in this neighborhood. Not anymore, you ain't. That kind of threatening. And there's a lot of wild dogs around here, and people with guns, things like that. Especially people who are clothes like yours. You have to be really worried around here. So, anyways, they're trying to scare me, and I said, I told them I'm not intimidated. I said, I'm just going for another mile, and I'm finished for the day. I started early. I almost felt like saying, so there. They had foul language and everything, But once in a while you get that kind of dynamic, but mostly people are quite nice. They are very nice. So that's what you meet along the road. It really is an adventure. If anybody's ever thinking about walking major tracts of land, you're gonna have fun. That's all I can say. You'll have something to write about every day. There'll be something. Who you met, what did they say, what were their questions, and most people are just quite nice. And we meet a lot of authorities, police. They think I'm an escapee from prison because I'm wearing orange. And when I was in New England, that was a ghost. Gonna let's see, what else was I going to say? Yeah, we met a lot of authorities, especially in the eastern side, and especially when we walked through conservative places like Pennsylvania, which is very white and very Amish kind of country. Nice people, but they're not quite sure what to make of me and my walking partner at the time. My walking partner, his name was Trevon Stapleton, and he was a Rastafarian, you know. He had dreadlocks. We happened to share the same birthday, but I could have been his granddad. And he was a rapper. He'd rap along the way, and I was teaching him Sanskrit, so he was incorporating, you know, Gita verses, and it was fun. It was good. And so in Pennsylvania, they call the police. Police would come, and sometimes they got a good catch. Okay, what's going on around here? You know, and I'd stick out, I'd have my bead bag. And say, what's in there? Because it looks like a gun. So these are my meditation beads. What are you doing? It says I'm walking across America to make America great again. And these are not, I'm telling you the truth, right? And yeah, then, well, who are you to him? He's asking this younger, you know, guy who looks like Bob Marley. And he's asking, who are you to him? I said, well, this is my guru. Tells him straightforward. And then he says, where are you from? The officers, I'm from Toronto. And then they cool down. Oh, these are tourists. We better be nice to them. So those are the kind of experiences we had along the way. It's always fun. It's just, we met nice people. We were maintained by the Gujarati community mainly. We stayed at hotel motels most of the time. And because it's in their culture, oh, Swamiji, we give you room. We also cook for you. You're Swamiji, so we cook for you. And I always refused the rice. They didn't like that. Hare Krishna. So that answers your question. I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry. Anybody else have any questions about Bhuttas or Bhuta Gyan? There's a section of the Vedas that deal with Bhuta Gyan. You know, there are some people who've mastered the art of being able to do yajnas and sacrifices that will relieve you or your facility of spirits, disembodied beings. So it's not something we concentrate on in the Bhakti tradition. But how Prabhupada dealt with it when the devotees were first in the UK, the first dwelling place they had, it was 3 American couples and some other, they stayed at John Lennon's estate, Tittenhurst estate. And the hired hand that he had came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada stayed there also. And he said, my wife is seeing spirits in the night. So Prabhupada arranged for the devotees with, you know, like Yamuna was there and everything. They went into the home of the hired hand, and they had conch shells. They blew conch shells, and they sprinkled just, you know, Ganga Jal, what would be the equivalent of Ganges water, and they also chanted the holy name. And that's how Prabhupada dealt with Bhutas, you know, in that particular case. Now, were they still hanging around after that? I don't know. I didn't do the follow-up on that one, but that's how he dealt with situations where sometimes people have trouble with these disembodied beings, you know. Okay, so anybody else have something there they want to say? We have a person with their hand up. Sudama, you can recognize. Okay. Nitai, yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. I once had a very strange experience where I met somebody who could communicate with people, let's say on the other side. I didn't believe it at the time. But because of the incredible description this person told me, it changed me in a drastic way. And I was wondering if maybe you could speak on the idea of spiritual time and material time along the lines of maybe the way Lord Brahma steals Krishna's friends and cows. And he's seeing things from a particular time, whereas here on Earth we're seeing things in a particular time. Is there? Can you just elaborate on that maybe a little for us?
Well, I think the most simple way to explain something like that would be you have an ant and an elephant. The elephant lives quite long, right? Could be like the length of a lifespan of a human being, isn't it, in some cases, right? And an ant doesn't live very long. So the perception of time is very different, and just like you have these, what are called, magflies or whatever, mayflies, and they don't last long. They might have a day where they're out there and then they're gone. So the perception of time changes based on the body, based on karma. And Krishna explains to Arjuna, he defines what is karma. Karma is action pertaining to the development of a new body. So that's how he defines karma. We might simplify it and say, for every action there's an opposite, an equal reaction. But Krishna explains that it's all pertaining, you get a body based on, let's say, your actions. It's quite similar. So I would just say that some people have a long duration, some people have short. In the case of Brahma, who's supposed to head up our sampradaya, so you can say he's maybe in some ways the first bhakti yogi, and he has a long lifespan. According to the calculations, at this time he's a little over 51 years old, 50, 52, somewhere by his calculations. I mean, it's hard for us to fathom. But I think what's really important is that we need to enter into the timeless zone. And that timeless zone is in service, in service. You're immersed in service. And that puts you into a certain mindset and certain perceptions on life itself. So I think the most important thing is to cultivate that side, and then you will enter into a time frame that isn't so taxing. And I think that's what some people like. When we're young, time runs slow. Remember when you were a teenager, and you're dreaming like crazy. Who will I meet? What kind of job will I get? All those kind of things. It just lingers on, and it goes forever and ever. But as you get a little older, like 40 plus, time spins by real fast. Thank God. It really, your perception changes completely. You're a little more tolerant of time itself. You've been a little bit time worn, and so I don't know if this really goes in the direction that you're interested in, Nitai, to answer your question, but I'm just saying that some people live long, and their perception is very different. The second time I did a walk across Canada, I met a lady. She was 104 years old. So she and her daughter, 86, was there too for an interview. Her daughter was 86. Now the lady had touched 3 centuries. The 20th century, the 19th century, and the 18th century, right? Yeah. So that's pretty remarkable. And she was just sharp as a whip. She wrote her own poems. She was just going on, reciting her one particular poem, which is about nature, and went on and on and on. You couldn't get her to stop. Couldn't turn it off. So she was really sharp as a whistle. But so for her time, she was there before the automobile. She was there before, before the train, I guess, So that's pretty incredible. If we were to follow up on her now, that would she'd probably be under 24 now, because that's happened 20 years ago when we met her. But just let us hook up with Krishna's time. That's what I'm trying to say here. That's what I mean by the timeless zone. Okay, and that means Krishna is always with you. He's always on your mind, and you make the most of your time. Morning time, early morning is for some sadhana, and before you rest after this class, you'll wind down, you're also thinking a little bit more about Krishna. Maybe you'll do an extra round or something like that. And at high noon, it's also a good idea to also stop what you're doing, somewhere around noontime. Just stop, chant around. Some of us chant the Gayatri mantra. And this way, Krishna becomes prevalent with the movement of the sun, at least at 3 demarcation points in the day. It's just a little advice I'd like to give to you. The more Krishna is with you in your thoughts, the quicker everything goes. And the slower spiritual life takes up. Because when you're in the spiritual world, you want to hold it this slow mode. Or at least it should be. Something that will really register. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? We do have a question here. Would you like the microphone can come?
Maharaj, we so love your plays that you always did in Mayapur. Are you planning to do any more of those?
Oh yes, the question is about doing dramas. And I am going to Mayapur next month. We're going to perform in front of the devotees there, and also an audience in Andhra Pradesh. Anybody from there? Andhra? Okay, there. Well, you better be there. And we're just doing the old classic, The Age of Kali. We got new costumes, custom made. And Prabhupada really liked that play because it was very philosophical. There's a lot of excerpts from the Bhagavatam in there. So we did it this last year. We thought to do it again because it's a new audience. The ISKCON Leaders Sangha is happening. So devotees from all over the world, leaders are going to come and see our drama. And it's done mostly by actors from South Africa. And we've got them really well primed and trained up. And they do a great job. And they're fun to work with. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. I've done some dramas here before. And all throughout the US and Canada. And that's what I like to do, right? And I learn from the dramas that people go through in life. One of the reasons why I took sannyas and was a brahmachari, I saw all the drama that goes on in people's lives. I don't think I want to be part of that drama. Yeah. I don't want to discourage anybody. I want to discourage any of the young men and women here. I encourage marriage, but God is to be at the center. I encourage it. And I always say at every wedding when they ask me to speak, have lots of babies. Yeah, have lot, because you're going to have your devotees, you're good people. So the children you bear should also be of good quality, and that will be a great asset to the world. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I trailed off. As you talk about drama, I end up with babies. I don't know how I get there. And anybody else for some more questions on this particular topic? And I don't mind if you go back. In fact, what I think I'd like to do is, because the next verse is quite related, and I think we should just kind of like go through this phase. At least I would say the next 2. That's what I think we should do. All right, this gives an opportunity for a little more interactiveness. Can I get someone to read the Sanskrit for 25? Someone can do the English. Do we have any volunteers? I just want to say, Sudama, I don't think in this case it's working so well from your end. My apologies, right?
We're doing better now.
We're doing better now, according to our sound man, God. Okay, so we can try one of you over there with the Sanskrit, and you'll be excused because we make mistakes on that anyways. The Sanskrit, the English, and one person on the purport. Can I get somebody over there to do the Sanskrit, Sudama?
Maybe I can volunteer Jesus to try the Sanskrit.
Okay, great.
The Marathi said Krishna Sanmasha Dakshina Yamanam Racha Kandra Masham Jyoti Jogi Pragya Nirvajati.
Excellent, bravo. Next, next up, should we just choose somebody from here? Somebody's got the, yeah, she got Vaishnavi, she's our host on Thursdays.
The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but comes back.
Thank you very much. And purport? Someone else?
In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni mentions that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. These elevated souls live on the moon for about 10,000 years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking somarasa. They eventually return to earth. This means that on the moon there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses.
Thank you very much. Controversial loveliness. Okay, so then 26, it's also related, might as well while we're on a roll here. Someone in the Sanskrit, can somebody over there in your neck of the woods do that one, Sudamaji?
For sure, maybe I can volunteer Anutama.
Anutama, good, and we can get another person over there for the translation. Anybody up there? Ajit, are you ready to roll up?
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, and then someone over here with the purport. Who's that? Okay, great. Okay, let's start with the Sanskrit. Go ahead.
Sukla Krishna Gata Hite Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yati Anavrittim Anyaya Vartate Puna.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Next.
According to the Vedas, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns.
Very nice, good. And the purport?
The same description of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baldev Vidyabhushana from Chandodaya Upanishad 5.10.3 through 5. Those who are fruitive laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna.
Sorry, okay, so thank you for a little bit of extra information here. There's more destination points here. We are talking about some of the luminaries like the moon, and Prabhupada actually qualifies, the Vedas do, that there are living beings on other planets. The Earth doesn't monopolize, although we like to think so, because we've got big egos. I wonder if people on the moon have egos like the people on Earth. If it is, then I don't think we should go there, because it's already rough down here. I know Elon Musk might not like that, like going to outer space, to other planets. But the thing is that on a particular level, there are beings there on these other planets. They may not be perceived by our particular senses. And I remember when I was, it must have been 1967, I think it was, when the moon mission took shape. And I was just, taking typing lessons in high school. And I remember our teacher, she says something quite brilliant, our typing teacher, who said, well, what's to say that there are beings up there in the moon planet that we can't see and we can't detect because we're limited in our abilities to perceive. So I thought that was very brilliant, for a typing teacher to talk like that. And so the thing is that we need not bother so much about these technical things. Krishna's volunteering to say a number of things to Arjuna, but not all of it has to be taken so seriously. Srila Prabhupada also volunteers not to say so much about these matters. His focus was give attention to service to Krishna directly. And do not be, swayed, because Maya is the one that sways. Maya swerves. How can I swerve you? Maya is saying. Krishna is saying, devotees are saying, how can I serve you? But Maya is saying, how can I swerve you? How can I take you in some strange directions that will lead you not to the parangatim, the ultimate goal, which is to go to Krishna's lotus feet. So you can take these details with some interest, but I've never met anybody who really pays too much attention to these matters. And also when it comes to astrology, we need not always take astrological readings so seriously, even though they have a lot to do with what planets may affect you and have some influence on you. Because what I've seen happens is, for at least some people have become so like surrendered to astrological readings, they kind of forget about, just submission in general. The mode of I just need to surrender to God, and whatever will be, will be. And because it's very dangerous to depend too much on the nature of the stars and how the moon and the sun affect us. It's better to be dependent on the one who sets everything in motion. And that's really what it's all about. Bhagavad Gita is about just full surrender, and you don't get too caught up in these complications and complexities that the universe offers you. Okay, even when some devotees went to Prabhupada and they asked him, well, I was thinking about getting into astrology and also the Vedic sciences, Ayurveda and so on like that. Prabhupada was in many ways discouraging. You know why? Because he saw the nature of a lot of his students, and they can very easily, be distracted and forget that the prime objective is to engage in simple and pure devotional service. Does that make sense? It's not that he was opposed to anybody going in that field, but he saw how easily we would be just kind of like detoured from the submission that is required of us from the Lord. Yeah. Okay, great. We have somebody with their hand up. Yes, thank you, Anutama Jr. Tell us what's on your mind.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I just want to mention that His Holiness Hridayananda Maharaj also mentions that when we depend on astrology and all this, it reduces our dependency on Krishna.
Yes.
So
that's what we're saying.
Yeah, and I think the same can apply for, say, even like demigod worship, or let's do this on this auspicious time of the year. But again, it reduces our dependency on Krishna. So could you speak on that a little bit?
Yes, we did definitely touch on that. There's a lot of things that, the Vedas are very complicated. And even Krishna says, Trigunya Vishya Veda. He says that the Vedas mainly deal with the three energies. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. And people gravitate to either goodness, passion, or ignorance in the fields that are offered in the Vedas. And so it gets very complex. And so Krishna is advising Arjuna, rise above them. Arjuna, rise above these things. Don't get too entangled in them. Again, dependency on the Supreme Lord. Some of the things that are outlined in the Nectar of Devotion for us, stick with bhakti. It's what attracts Krishna the most. And these other complexities, they're like it's going down some kind of maze, and we don't need to do that. It's not we're already confused. We're already easily distracted in this world of mass distraction. Good. Yes, I remember on one of the walks I stayed with a priest, me and my support guy, Guru Devahan. Guru Devahan, are you there? Are you there?
He stepped out of the room.
Well, your dad and I stayed with the priest, okay? And he told us about that phrase, you know, the weapons of mass distraction. We heard that from him a long time ago. And that's indeed the case. There's so many things to distract you from the ultimate goal. And the goal is very simple. Submit to Krishna. Just give your will to Krishna's will. Align with him. All right, so we're discouraged from being distracted by sense objects. We're also discouraged by some of the other more subtle, let's say, areas of perhaps fantasy, you know, which we find in the Vedas. Don't get distracted by, you know, the things that the Devatas may offer you. You know, just kind of fixate yourself on the lotus feet of the Lord, which means to, you know, perfect as best as you can your devotional practices. Is that okay, Anutama? In short?
Yes, Maharaj, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody else? Now we're coming to the tail end. What I would like to say here, we have a chance to do takeaways based on what we just read and discussed. Can we get some takeaways? That means, think about this. You have 4 words to answer to, okay? And we will try to go through every one here. You have to be real sharp and fast, okay? 4 words which will summarize, 4 words or less that will summarize what you want to take away from today's message or messages. Are you game? Everybody's okay? Okay, so how should we do this, Sudama? This is your day.
I would suggest let's start with everyone there with you. Most of us on the call, we've had great practice at this, and I would love to hear your guests have a go at it.
Well, that's one way to do it, or you who are so expert up there, why don't you show us how to do it? I can argue it that way.
Okay, a forward takeaway, perfect your devotional practices.
Perfect your devotional practices. Is that okay for us? Perfect your devotional practice. 4 words. Next. You name the person.
We'll go through our group here.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, let's hear from Michael.
Krishna's good, not astrology.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's not that astrology is bad. I just want to clarify. It can be used. It has its utility, but don't become too dependent on it.
I heard Radharani believe in astrology.
Yeah, well, she's Radharani. Okay, next.
Nitai.
Serve Krishna, not swerve.
Thank you. Next.
Anutama.
Similar, it's do not let Maya swerve.
Swerve or serve?
Swerve.
Swerve. Okay, thank you, Haribol. Looks like everybody caught on to that word. It's kind of fun. Next.
Krishna Kata, Hari Kata.
Aim for Goloka.
Aim for Goloka. Okay, first time I heard Goloka, but that's okay. Haribol.
Focus on Krishna.
Focus on Krishna. Okay, great. To both of you, yes.
Aripurasha.
Do not get distracted.
Do not get distracted. That's good. That's a clear message. Yeah, we all agree to that. Yes, Haribol. Next.
Greatest guarantee, Krishna consciousness.
Greatest guarantee.
Greatest guarantee. Okay. Thank you. Haribol.
Weapons of mass distraction.
What about them?
Avoid.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Jesus.
I call him Jesus.
pass away in light.
What was that?
Pass away in life.
Pass away in light. Okay, that's to be taken two ways. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. I like your lit up house there. Let's go on.
Atreya.
Make your thoughts count.
Make your thoughts count. 4 words. See, they're working with constrained way, which is great. Honeyball. Next.
Oh, I thought, don't get tangled up.
Don't get tangled up. Don't get entangled. That's 3 words. Thank you very much. Very nice. Next.
Ajit and company.
Well, they're all going to speak at the same time. The same words.
Like a choir.
Yeah.
Just perform pure bhakti.
Just perform pure bhakti. Very good. 4 words. Yes. Boris G.
Just focus on bhakti.
Just focus on bhakti. Very good. Lozaro.
Always surrender to Krishna.
Always surrender to Krishna. 4 words. See? They're staying in the framework. Anybody else? Jay. I didn't hear Jay yet. Go ahead. Maybe he's the next. Jay, go ahead.
Engage in devotional service.
Engage in devotional service. Wow, that's right straight from Prabhupada's books. Great. Next.
Krishna.
Remember Krishna, never forget.
Remember Krishna never forgets. That's very sharp. Witty. Thank you. Haribol.
Christy.
Align, submit to Krishna.
Align, submit to Krishna. Very nice. Nice. Well thought out.
Denise.
Be fixed in devotion.
Be fixed in devotion. Very good. We've captured a nice theme there. Good. Anybody else up there?
We've got Nandini.
Nandini, go ahead, Nandini. It's all yours. Is it going to happen this year? Nandini, maybe she didn't hear you. Okay, is that it?
Well, that's all of us then here on the call, Maharaj.
Okay, so those of you who are up there now, listen to those who have learned from you. Okay, let us go ahead. Who do we start with? Okay.
Remember Krishna always.
Remember Krishna always. Okay, very good. Okay, you're supposed to be control. No, you're not. This is not your game.
No.
Go. Just you could shout it out loud. That's fine.
Increase dependence on Krishna.
Increase dependence on Krishna. Yay! Very good.
Simply surrender.
Simply surrender. 2 words. Yes.
Perfect our sadhana.
Perfect our sadhana. Yes.
Study Srila Prabhupada's books.
Study Srila Prabhupada's books. 4 words. Yay. What else?
Love Krishna.
Love Krishna. Yes. These guys are fast. Next.
Always be in service mode.
Always be in the service mood. Always in service mood. Okay, great. Haribol.
Simplify.
Simplify. Simplify. Simplify. Okay, next. Yes.
Walk more, worry less.
Walk more, worry less. I'm for that. Yes, all right, God. Dhammadarati, go ahead. No, when someone does this, that means they're really thinking, isn't it? So what are you striking up here?
Do more sound checks.
Do more sound checks. Yes, good. What a humble position he's taking. Okay, who else do we have here that didn't have a chance to say something yet?
Keep Krishna in the center, Maharaj.
Depression in the center.
Put Krishna in the center.
Put Krishna in the center. Okay, yeah. I misheard. Prabhu, how about you?
I already did.
You already did? Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Anama.
Bhakti is the best.
Bhakti is the best. I like that slogan. Bhakti is the best.
Hanuman's the best.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna is our source.
Krishna is our source. Very good. Bravo.
Krishna. Keep good association.
Keep good association. Yep, 4 words. Starting with what did you? What was it? What was your name? Trees? What is? Okay. Trish.
Well, yeah, he got mine, so I guess I'm gonna say Krishna is my source.
Krishna is my source. I like that one. Yeah. Yes.
Krishna above all else.
Krishna above all else. Very nice. Bravo. Yes. Prabhuji, did you do what? No, again.
Submission is.
Mission is. Submission is. And that's it. Okay, all right. I trust.
It's a
Submission to Krishna.
Submission is everything.
Never-ending story. It's a submission is.
Okay, all right. With the little. How do you spell that? That's a word, I guess. Somebody else back there?
How about get out of Maya?
Get out of Maya. Yeah, that's good. Who else? We just got about 5 or 6 more people here.
Always make spiritual advancement.
Always make spiritual advancement. Okay. What else do we have here?
I'm still thinking about Somerset Mount.
I'm still thinking about.
Just my comment, because when I read this book, it made such impression on me, and I never heard anyone else ever talk about that book. So,
You mean this book, the Gita?
when you mentioned Somerset Mount.
Oh yeah, the Razor's Edge.
Yeah, but the other thing is Krishna's 3 times a day, when you were talking about
Krishna 3 times a day. Very good.
Chant your rounds.
Chant your rounds nicely. Then it's 4 words, yeah. Anybody else missing up? Okay.
Sadhu Sangha is essential.
Sadhu Sangha is essential. And that's what we're doing here right now. So I want to thank everybody for being on board today. It was nice for us to unite from different states and different provinces. And thank you. Whether Canada becomes the 51st state or America becomes the 11th province, we have yet to see. We've always been friends with each other, right? But if you look at a map, Canada's always on top.
Then you wouldn't go through the customs problems.
Yeah, that's right.
Either way.
It's a bright side.
There's good sides and negative sides too. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to see you next week. I'll probably be in Miami at that time. And then the next week, I'm talking about the Tuesday night group. We'll probably be back in Ontario. So it's a pleasure. And anybody who's interested in joining any of these, nighttime classes like this, you can let me know and see what we can do for you. So there's usually closing mantra. Those of you who are not that familiar, because we do have some new people on board. If you look on page 2 of the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, you're going to find this verse, and it is right in the middle, page 2. Yeah, and it goes like this. Everyone can do it. Vancha kalpatarubyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So you look at the translation by yourselves. Thank you very much. Let's leave each other. And this is a terrible moment. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki.